Hey guys, it's Captain Forrest here, and in today's video I'm going to be going over both these combatants to see who would win more often than not in an inverse situation. Hercules versus Ghost Rider, specifically Robbie Reyes from Marvel 616. Now if you guys are new to my channel, please leave a like, comment down below, and of course subscribe for further content. Also, shout out to the Cough Shop gang, they all make awesome content. Their links will be in the description. Also, shoutouts to the HQ squad, they've been a massive help in my videos. Also shoutouts to Korin, he's also been a huge help in this video also. So, I'm going to go ahead and start off with Hercules. Now, in fact, speaking of Hercules himself, I actually mentioned a lot of his feats in my Hercules vs Hyperion video. So if you guys would like to check that video out, that link will be in the description. But anyway, I covered a lot of things for Hercules in that video, but there's some things that I was missing and that I wanted to kind of add more attention to detail. So I'm going to go ahead, talk and add on some additional things that Hercules has to bring to the table, and then I'll go ahead and talk about Robbie Ghost Rider. So Hercules is the physically strongest son of Zeus. The Lion of Olympus was one of the only people on the planet who had a prayer of taking out the Green Scar Hulk, but he did not do it for mortal reasons. In Avengers No Road Home, it was stated that Hercules might have the strength to stop Devil Hulk. Hercules has the shield of Perseus at his disposal. The shield of Perseus is effective for defense, but also has the face of Medusa magically imprinted on it, which can turn enemies to stone and reflect energy attacks. He can turn invisible thanks to the helmet of Hades. The Prince of Power can seduce others with relative ease. Social influencing is one's ability to manipulate other characters using some form of charm and charisma. This has several uses in the form of manipulation, whether it will be to manipulate how an opponent fights, thinks, or to get info from them that the user would want or need. This can be used in a number of ways via their looks, natural charm, or their way of speaking. While it does not usually seem combat applicable, this skill can be used in many ways that can affect a fight indirectly, including buying time, obtaining information that could be important, or manipulating how a person might approach a situation. We've seen Hercules overcome Kang's paralysis beam through sheer strength and willpower. Heck, this dude has straight up tanked both Ghost Rider's Hellfire and Iceman's attacks. So that's going to round up the rest of Hercules' other feats and showings and other equipment that he brings to the table. I'm going to go ahead and cover Ghost Rider, specifically Robbie Reyes. So there are some feats and showings that Robbie has performed. He was able to endure a heavy beating from Johnny Blaze Ghost Rider. Robbie's Hellfire is capable of physically hurting the likes of Captain Marvel and Thor. For those who are unaware, Hellfire affects the soul by burning it. Robbie was able to restrain Savage She-Hulk in his chains and burn her with Hellfire. His Hellfire is strong enough to intercept a magic attack from Enchantress. There is a statement from Cap where he implies that Robbie Reyes is more than just a car, maybe more than any other Ghost Rider he's known. Robbie in fact goes at it with Starbrand, physically damaging and taking attacks from him. This very same Starbrand can survive an assault from Thor and even launch Hulk into orbit. Robbie used his own powers to possess a dead Celestial without too much effort. Even though he's in a Celestial at the time, he notes that this immense power is of his own doing, and then questions just how strong he is. Robbie assists the Avengers during that time and fights off the army of Dark Celestials. Now let's talk about Robbie's whip called the Hell Charger. The Hell Charger has some feats of its own, such as running over Namor and Cho. Robbie can create Hellfire portals via the Hell Charger, which was used to send him out of town. He can control the Hell Charger and make it ram into people. If anyone tries to sabotage the Hell Charger vehicle, Robbie's powers will instinctively activate and alert him of the intruder, transporting him to the area. Robbie isn't afraid to have the Hell Charger phase directly through him to ram someone, and even use it to catch advancing enemies off guard. If Robbie is ever injured, his Hell Charger can heal him by plugging wires into his body. Not even spiritual beings such as ghosts can phase through the Hell Charger. The Hell Charger can rapidly generate enough heat to make the monster spit him back out when Robbie was swallowed. So that's going to round up the Hell Charger. Let's talk more about Robbie and his Ghost Rider powers. Just like other Ghost Riders, he can perform the Penance Stare. This ability affects the user's soul by using all of the user's sins against them, causing them pain and agony physically and emotionally. Those affected by the Penance Stare are left in a bumbling mess. Robbie can use Hellfire and blast it at his foes. Hellfire also burns the soul, turning it to ash. He can summon chains to attack or restrain multiple enemies. He can also lace his chains with Hellfire too. He can also BFR people by lacing chains around his opponents and sending them to hell. Robbie's Hellfire is pretty potent. He burnt this creature to cinder. This very same purple creature absorbed other people's DNA and combined it with its very own. It had the strength and durability of Shulk and the regeneration of X-23, which is pretty impressive. And lastly, Robbie can also suck out your soul and consume it. So that's going to round up Robbie Reyes. I'm going to go ahead and break this fight down to see who would win, more often not, in an inverse situation. Okay, so in terms of stats, I have to lean a little bit more so with Hercules in terms of the AP department. I think his feats, inverse wise, are a little bit more impressive than Robbie's, unfortunately. I think his feats, I think he scales a little bit more into the tier. I think he's more impressive compared to Robbie's own Herald tier feats. But in terms of speed, I don't think speed's going to be an issue. I think they're pretty relative in that department. Now, in terms of win cons, they both have some pretty interesting win cons. Robbie has his Hellfire, his chains, his Penance Stare and other Haxes, which I will talk about in this video. Hercules has his Adamantine Mace and his other Olympian gear, which is very important in this fight. And he has his resistances, his battle prowess, and other tactics that he could use in his sleeve in this battle. Now, I think Hercules is going to be fine against the Hellfire. I don't think Hellfire is going to be an issue at all. I think he'd be able to resist the Hellfire. He's taken Hellfire from Ghost Rider anyway, and he was just fine. So I don't really see what Robbie's Hellfire is going to be any use in this fight. I don't think it's going to make a difference at all. Now, the Penance Stare could be an issue. You could argue that the Penance Stare could be a factor. Now, in character, I don't typically see Robbie using the Penance Stare very often. He doesn't really use it like the other Ghost Riders. He doesn't use it very often. But if he does, that could be an issue. That could secure him the W. However, Hercules does have resistances. Of course, his story is just so great. Not even the high evolutionary could get rid of him. Like, his story was just too big for him. He just couldn't get rid of him. So I don't really think the Penance Stare would be able to do much if you look at things from that interpretation and that perspective. So it just depends on where you take that feat, or where you take the argument. So you could honestly argue for both sides. You could argue it not working, you could argue it working. It just depends. But consistently, I personally don't see the Penance Stare coming into a factor in this fight immediately. I just don't see it happening. I see Robbie starting off with Hellfire and chains and bringing out his Hell Charger. He's going to try and get his Hell Charger to ram into Hercules. Hercules will just use his Adamantine Mace just to swat that car away. I don't think it's going to be an issue. Now, I think Hercules may have a hard time killing Robbie because of because of his spirit of vengeance. Of course, the immortality is just going to be very difficult for Hercules to take him down in terms of like permanently trying to like kill him. But he does have ways to take him out via incapacitation, so that is also a method. So if he does get in a few strikes, especially with that Adamantine Mace, which hits like an absolute truck, that thing could definitely do some damage. That could potentially incapacitate Robbie. Robbie does have BFR tactics as well. He does have his chains if he's able to tag Hercules. That could be an issue as well, BFR maybe. But ultimately, I think Hercules' other gear, which will come into play, like his shield, I think that the petrification aspect, if Robbie looks at that shield, it's GG. I have not seen a resistance for Robbie against like petrification, and the petrification lasts for several days, if not forever, and under standard battle assumptions you basically have a day or an hour basically to get out of that situation, I believe. And if he does get tagged and if he does get hit with the petrification, he's not going to get out. He's going to be trapped in there, and standard battle assumptions will apply, and Hercules would probably take the victory through those means. So going over many factors and going over the mode, going over different like situations and simulations and who I would see winning more often than not based off stats, equipments, hexes and all that good stuff, I would say with mid difficulty, maybe a little bit higher if you want to take it a bit of a stretch, but I do have to lean a bit more so with Hercules. He's too necessary, he's too fundamental, he's protected, his resistances help him in a lot of these messy situations, so I definitely see him being able to resist a lot of Robbie's hexes. I don't really see it being an issue much in this fight, and plus Hercules has his intelligence, his battle IQ, his other equipment, which can definitely be a nasty hindrance and a big factor in this fight against Robbie. So more often than not, I have to give victory to Hercules. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. But yeah, it's been real. See you guys in the next one.